What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 504. I am your host, Stevie, and joining alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm well. How are you?
Really, really good on this rainy Monday, but rainy days and Mondays. Also, of course, joining us is Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful, wonderful.
Nice. Good to hear. Good to be with you both. Let's get into so many hot topics when we record this on a Monday. We have to start with one of my favorite people, Angelica Ross. Many of you know Angelica Ross from Pose. I'm talking about Candy. She's been in a lot of other things, but she announced that she's leaving Hollywood, if you can believe it, citing things like racism and transphobia she's faced in the industry. And just to give you a little bit of a background on why she's leaving, she's recently been posting things and says the whole story will come out in future articles. But many of the claims she's actually making have to do with Ryan Murphy and actually Emma Stone. Starting with Ryan Murphy, apparently with FX, she's been under contract this whole time, and she was fine with that. However, she was up for some other roles, actually, with to be maybe in a superhero film with Marvel. And she had to turn it down because FX essentially had her under contract. Like, she can't do anything until she's out of that contract, which she would be fine with if there were some projects. And at one point she was doing a lot of things, not just American Horror Story. She was like a hot commodity. And so she's claiming that during this time of her hotness that she wasn't getting any work from Ryan or FX or anything. She was in talks with Ryan to develop this all black led female cast, and she was going to help write it, and it just never came to fruition. And to the point where she's claiming that Ryan stopped returning her emails, and this is something that she thought she could bank on. She even offered to help write part of this female led black cast, and she claims that Ryan Murphy ghosted her. Well, there's that. And she said during that whole time, her star, like essentially if you're not working and people don't see you, it's harder to get parts. And now she doesn't even know if Marvel, they stopped calling her now because maybe that part's gone. And in terms of Emma Stone, who's on the current American Horror Story, when they were working together on American Horror Story 1984, Anjelica claims that at one point they were all backstage just hanging out, and somebody from production came, okay, girls, it's time to, did I say a different Emma?
Yeah.
What did
Emma
I say?
Roberts.
What was I
say?
Oh, Emma Roberts. Okay, correct that. Emma
there's
Roberts.
Too many
Thanks.
Emmas. Yeah.
Got it. Well, you can correct me on air, by the way. Cody's texting me back today. You can correct me. I stand corrected. Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts' niece. And so the story goes that they were 1984 American Horror Story. And essentially she said, the production was like, go back to work. And Emma goes, oh, ladies, let's get back to work, is what the producer said. And Emma goes, well, there's one lady here. And she turned over to Angelica as if, right? Angelica is not a woman. Right. And so since that came out, Emma Roberts, get that right, came, I don't want any more backhanded texts.
No.
Just tell me online or on air.
Okay, I got you.
And so said essentially she came out, probably she apologized to her, which she called her, and you and I were talking about that, Kodi, which thank goodness she did do that. So I mean, it's a lot here, but I think Angelica Ross, don't feel too sorry for her because, she's a techie from back in the day. She created a whole transgendered tech organization, and she's really smart, and I have no doubt that she will go on to bigger and better. But how do you read all this, Jeremy, the drama, and that she's actually leaving Hollywood?
I mean, it's terrible, and I hope she ends up having a change of mind. But I can understand why she would be finished and kind of done with all of it. But I really loved her so much in Pose. She was
Mhm.
definitely like one of my favorite actresses in that show specifically, and I just would hate to see her go. But I mean, she's talented and smart, just like you said. So I'm sure she has a bright future, um, other than within Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Kodi, she said a lot of the stories will come out in future press that she's done, I guess, sit
Mhm.
down interviews. So we'll see how it all parlays out. I mean, how do you feel about all this?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with Jeremy. I think that she's so super talented. I've loved her. Candy is iconic with the hammer. Come
Oh,
on now.
my
How can you forget
favorite.
about Candy and the hammer? And then on American Horror Story, she was on that show and she was amazing. And it really puts a bad taste in my mouth to hear that Emma Roberts would do something like that. But I'm glad that she apologized to the person that she actually did the harm to. So instead of making a public apology behind some nondescript white wall like everybody else has been doing. But yeah, I'm glad that she actually took the initiative to apologize to
But I
Angelica.
also feel like Emma Roberts isn't smart enough to just not say something stupid like that. It's like
Hmm?
it takes a little bit more effort to actually be rude than just to accept that the person called everyone "Hey you ladies" or whatever.
Right.
Like
So
it's just sounds idiotic to me
it
for
Yeah.
does.
somebody who is also I don't know, she's an award-winning actress as well, and I don't know, it just does not sound smart to me.
Definitely doesn't sound smart. It sounds like it was in a different era. She's been in the press for other dramas before. I am glad that she actually apologized. I am sad to see Angelica Ross say that she's leaving Hollywood, but hopefully it's like a share move where the finale keeps going on and somebody will get her back. I'm sure for the
The
right
farewell tour
yes, and hope
17.
thank you. And hopefully people will see this in Hollywood. Hollywood's rough, you guys, whether
It
you're
is.
particularly if you're in the LGBTQ community. I mean, getting parts, solidifying parts, roles, shows, getting ghosted is part of, sadly, the game. And so, and then with the strike that hopefully has an end coming to light at some point, but it's rough. And I can only imagine as a transgendered person how rougher it would even be. But I'm glad she's being vocal. I'm glad she got her apology. And I just hope somebody convinces her to come out of retirement. It's a short lived retirement. Think share, like I said. So, okay. Yeah. I put a link there in your guys' comments or chat there over a controversial AIDS Memorial Sculpture that just erupted or has been in effect for a while in Palm Springs. And many are talking that it looks like something else. And we'll talk about what it might look like. It was created by artist Philip K. Smith III, and it was gifted to the city and the people of Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. The sculpture will have maximum impact in the downtown park by adding great beauty and providing the opportunity for reflection and remembrance. An HIV educational component, including prevention, diagnosis, and treatment option, is also being planned. So there's that. We love a good AIDS memorial to not never forget. I also sent you the one of our New York Memorial Park here in the West Village to kind of do a comparison analysis. And at first glance, I'll put this in TAGSPodcast.com. It's circular, sphere like in nature, but many of them are comparing it to a donut from the back and also an anus. I looked at this too, and one side of it looks interesting. It looks a little bit Empire Strikes Back to me, if you will, but like a piece of Empire Strikes Back, the set perhaps, and then that's all we get. And then if you look at the back of it, I kind of agree. To me, it looks like a donut, or I could see the puckered up anus that they're talking about. they're saying in a lot of news stories that it's embarrassing to the city, and a lot of people don't want it to be a joke. Kodi, what are your thoughts when you first saw this?
Oh yeah, definitely looks like something. It definitely looks like a donut to me, like a powdered sugar donut. And I think that a lot of people's opinions about how this could be viewed as something that's not necessarily in the best light for the city or for an HIV and AIDS memorial, how it could be misrepresented, and how the people that think less of people living with HIV could deface it, probably, potentially, and just really do the wrong things with it. So I think that they should really revamp it and rethink what's going on with it.
Yeah, Jeremy, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I know you love art. We're talking about going to a museum art exhibit when you come back to New York. But what are your thoughts of this and compare it to, say, the New York Monument?
I definitely am not a fan of it, and it also looks even worse at night. Like during the day, I think it's just an abstract sort of sculpture,
Right.
but at night, it really makes it even more dramatic that it does look like a puckered asshole and a donut both.
Coming from somebody that actually likes an asshole and one of your favorite parts, do you really want to associate this with an AIDS memorial?
No, and I don't think it's a celebration of life for anyone that's passed away from AIDS. And I don't know, I'm just not a fan of it. And I think that they could have come up with something a little bit more creative and I don't know, just a little bit more commemorative than this round circle.
Yeah.
It looks like a Homer Simpson memorial more than anything, because he loves donuts.
There you go. Does he love a puckered ass? That's the key there. Maybe
Well,
Bart
it's also
Simpson.
funny where it's located, like in the middle of millions of palm trees.
Right. Good boy. Exactly. Oh, there's some references there. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it either, but they have heard, the city has heard, and the artists, and there are plans to actually revamp it. So let's hope they get it right the next time. And yeah, I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com, episode 504, so you guys can know what we're talking about. But yeah, look at the New York NYC AIDS Memorial. That is beautiful. I love it so much. Okay. Well, we got to talk some country news, and it's turning out to be a type of music I'm leaning towards a little bit. Now, I'm joking. I don't love country music, but with there's a lot of news going on, and we're talking right again with Dixon Dallas. Dixon Dallas is back with another raunchy, catchy gay country song. And he's been posting all this on TikTok recently. The song, I Need a Man to Lay Me Down and Give Me Something to Feel. Come pull me closer. Some of the lyrics, bend me over. I'm just here for the thrill. He sings in the new track, No Strings Attached. I'll arch my back and let you do what you want. Yeah, you can use me as you please. I'm on my knees. Then he really leans in singing about how he likes it rough. I'll go and grab a couple candles and you grab me by the throat. Nothing I can't handle. It's just a little choke. Don't be shy. I like it rough. It ain't enough until I'm screaming your name. Don't make me beg unless you want it. You know I ain't ashamed. He keeps saying bottoms rights in there, which I really like. And this is really kind of cool. I mean, it's in line with his current slew of songs that has been coming out. And he's very sexy, I think, too. I hope there's an album coming out. Are you here for these lyrics? And I know you're not a country fan, Jeremy, but what do you think?
I like the lyrics, but they don't exactly sound very catchy. It's kind of wordy.
Yeah, it's a little wordy.
I mean, if I heard it playing, maybe it
Right.
sounds a little bit better with background music, but it is a little much, just all of the sentences.
Yeah. What are your first thoughts when you hear this? And are you going to be listening to it? Is it on your current playlist for the fall, Kodi?
I mean, it could always get updated very soon. So maybe, perhaps. But if he keeps singing like this, I mean, he's been writing a bunch of bangers. I think the last one that we reported on was really, really good. So I have to give this one a listen. And he's been, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He's been people have been asking if he's been gay baiting, and I feel like he really is writing from experience because his lyrics are really graphic. I don't understand. Like if he's
Oh yeah, that does not sound like gay beating at all.
oh yeah, it's like he knows what he's doing, or he's polling a friend, he's calling a friend and asking what exactly he needs to put in this song, or he knows from experience. So either way, I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's hard to think that he would be gay baiting at this point with so many songs that are out there, that he would really go down this route to bank off of a community that doesn't typically, in general, listen to a lot of country music. Now, I know there's
Mhm.
fans out there that like it, so don't come after me here. But in general, it's not like we're listening to a lot of country music, if I'm sure if we were to poll, especially when you pair it up with this next story. Adam Mack is a gay country artist. He is admittedly gay, and he just had to cancel a festival performance that due to anti-homophobic remarks that came his way. Essentially, he was supposed to be performing at I had it right here, at the Tobacco Festival in Kentucky. And that alone, the Tobacco Festival alone should tell you something.
Mm.
And the Logan County Tobacco and Heritage Festival he was supposed to have performed at, he was going to headline it actually, but he says in a statement that the producers of this festival were all excited, said, you know, this is great, we can't wait for you to come on. But then they started getting messages from other people on the board of this festival wondering, what is he going to perform? And he's like, Adam Mack is like, what did they think I was going to do? Like, I
Mm.
mean, I was just going to do my show that we always do. We kill it when we're on stage. And so many of the people on the festival were wondering, like, what is he going to do? And then that started a whole protest. Many said that they were going to protest at the festival, that he shouldn't come because they don't think it's a family friendly environment, and we don't
What?
want you promoting homosexuality at this kind of event. And threats were starting to come as well, so he backed out. Sadly, he didn't
Wow.
want to, but it just goes to show you, I mean, this is his hometown of Kentucky too, so it's like he really wanted to go perform for his family and friends. And how sad, Jeremy, right, when you hear about
Yeah, that
this.
is sad.
Yeah. And I mean, what are your thoughts when you think, should he have pushed through and performed anyway, even though, it's not like he's taken off his clothes or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's always good to take a risk, and he's new as well still, so I mean, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I just think the pressure got to him, Kodi, and it's everybody is in concert right now. There's another artist, Peso Pluma, who was just on the VMAs recently. A lot of his music, he's Mexican from Mexico. A
Hmm.
lot of his lyrics talk about the drugs, and the he does an homage actually to several drug lords throughout the years, and
Oh.
Oh
the
Lord.
cartel has actually come after him. He was supposed to perform in Tijuana, and they actually posted huge banners in Tijuana and said, if you perform, you will never perform again. Like, you won't see the
Oh
light of
wow.
day. And he
Yikes.
canceled his. You don't want to mess with the cartel, y'all.
Yeah.
And so there is a huge threat where I think, oh my gosh, we're in crazy times. But I don't know, Kodi, what do you think about Adam Mack canceling due to this pressure he got?
Yeah, I think that in this time we need to be bold, and I think that he probably should not have canceled because I think it would have helped a lot of young people out there to come to terms with their sexuality. He wasn't going to be taking off his clothes. He wasn't going to be, from what I gather, he wouldn't be simulating sex or anything like that. He would keep it family friendly because, again, like they said, this is a family friendly venue. So I think that he should have just powered through, and because you never know how many people you can help. Now, if the cartel is coming after you, and then you run the other way, baby, because that's nothing to play around with. But for this festival, I feel like he should have just powered through. Yeah.
I kind of do too, just because he said a lot of his fans, he's sad not only for his family and friends not being able to hear him, but for the people that needed to hear him. So
Yeah.
people within the community that are country fans that maybe are questioning LGBTQ plus, this would have been great. And especially in his own hometown. I think I would have just, gotten a little bit more security and powered through it too. I wish he would have, just to make a statement. Who cares if they are protesting like that? And again, it's not like the cartel here. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was a good move on Peso Pluma to not perform. Okay, well, we have to talk about gay porn star Logan Aaron, who just launched a GoFundMe to help with his possible testicular cancer. He wrote recently, "Hey, Twitter family, I'm in need of some help. I recently found a testicular tumor, possibly cancer, that I will be getting removed Thursday. Seeing as I use my balls for my job, I won't be making much money the next couple of months, and I would appreciate any help you can offer. Thank you so much." And it's interesting because when I first heard this, I thought, does he not have insurance? Because I was thinking maybe he doesn't have enough money or insurance. He doesn't have proper insurance, but he probably does. But since this is really his job, he does need
Mm-hmm.
those balls to work. Then I understand it a little bit more. We also have somebody that's going to come on our show on Tags Live soon, Tommy Alexander, or at SurferJock805 soon. He was in a recent car accident, a really bad car accident that left him, the guy he's seeing, and a couple others in really bad shape. Tommy broke his pelvis and he's mending. And so he's kind of on break too. The difference with Tommy is he's had to go on his social media to warn people that if you see me or somebody, if you don't hear it from my mouth, I am not asking for money. I'm not asking for money at this time at all. Apparently, there's some faux Tommy Alexanders trying to rake in and capitalize on Tommy's accident. And
Wow.
they're starting these. I mean, see how insidious the nature it is that people asking GoFundMe can get sometimes. It's
Yeah.
so sad. And so, where one of them isn't, Tommy Alexander is not, and he'll be on our show in a couple weeks, Tags Live. I believe it's October 4th. But Logan, I don't mind that he's asking for this from his fans. Jeremy, do you? And what are your thoughts about this?
No, I think it's actually a good idea. And I think that if he has fans and followers that support his work, I don't see why they wouldn't support him and this effort towards fixing his health issue.
I agree. And the other thing, Kodi, that comes to mind is, he's a younger guy. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's in his, well, I don't know his age, but he's either late 20s, early 30s. And testicular cancer, that's when it can actually come to fruition for a lot of men. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think he's actually, dare I say, bringing some like check yourself out to a younger set
Awareness.
of community too. And I think that's actually a good thing too. Now, we don't know if he will have cancer. He just found a lump in there, and it could or
Mm-hmm.
could not be. But what are your thoughts about that as well?
Oh yeah, I think that that's something that people definitely need to be on the lookout for. I check my balls all the time because you
You're
know.
not the age though he is, but
Oh!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Talk about subtle shade. That wasn't a text message. Wow.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, you never know what could
No, you're right.
happen. So it's always good to be aware of your health. I let the doctor check it when I go to the doctor, and I think it's always good to be aware. I also think that along the lines of what Jeremy was saying, if his fans are really supportive of him, we are a community. So I don't see anything wrong with them giving to this GoFundMe so that he can actually take care of his health. I think it's really great.
I like that. Yeah, and I like his honesty, and we wish him well. I hope it's not cancer, but the awareness is good. Check yourself out like Kodi does every day.
I
So
mean,
we all
if you
should.
incorporate it to your shower time, it could be really fun, right?
Absolutely. When they're moist and wet, and
Oh,
yes,
oh,
exactly.
oh.
All right. Speaking of that area, a man was just awarded $25,000 you might think that's a lot until you hear what he was awarded for after having his penis chopped off during a botched circumcision. So this happened in Malaysia, where he was actually having a circumcision at the age of 10. At the age of 10, and the doctors that were not qualified actually cut off more than the circumcision part of it. They actually cut off most of his penis. And years later, he's now 22. He tried to sue and in Malaysia, and he was actually trying to sue for a lot more than 25,000, but the government of Malaysia actually tried to intervened, and they said that no. And so now, instead of the amount that he wanted, which was going to be closer to 500,000, they've lowered it to around 25,000, which it's like,
Yikes.
okay, I feel like that wouldn't happen in, like, our government wouldn't get involved in something like that. Jeremy, do you? And my goodness, if somebody botched your penis, don't you think you should be awarded much more than 25,000?
Yes, I definitely do, and I can't believe that the government got involved. I feel like you said, that definitely would not happen here, but obviously they don't find it's that worthy of that much money. Either that, or they just don't support like that cause, and they need the money more than they think he does.
Yeah, and it's also interesting, Kodi, because at 10 years old, my
Yeah.
God, I was a baby, didn't have a choice in the matter, raised Catholic, so was circumcised as a baby. Fortunately, they did a good job and there is no lawsuit. And so I'm fine with it. But again, I didn't have any choice in it. But I know it's based on religion, this whole idea of circumcising and not. But do you think as time goes on, this may fade away, this idea of circumcising what many people hold as sacred, your penis and your sex lives?
Yeah, I really actually hope it does. I was just thinking to myself, would I have wanted to be circumcised? And I think the answer is no, really, because I feel like uncircumcised dicks are beautiful. So I think that if I had the choice in the matter, that I would be uncircumcised. What do you guys think? Would you guys choose to be circumcised or uncircumcised? Do you even really care?
Now, I probably would not want to be. I just think let it be as it is.
Uh-huh.
I say that, but I'm happy because I hear there's a lot of pleasure with
Yeah.
this. Of course, it's a religious thing that many of us have to go through, not by choice. Jeremy, where do you weigh in on this?
I don't. For me, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care either way.
As long as they don't botch you, though.
Yeah, definitely. As long as they don't cut half of it off.
Yeah, I know. My goodness. So, yeah.
And it's definitely worth more than 25,000.
Yeah, facts.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, my goodness. Okay. This is a little fun tea here. Karamo Brown was recently on Andy Cohen, his radio show, Radio Andy. And when asked about fellow castmate Anthony Porowski's recent bachelor party, when Andy asked him, "Oh, how was it?" and he said, "Oh, I wasn't there." He's like, and Andy knew that, and Andy loves to stir the pot,
Of
and
course.
of course, but there was one cast member that was Tan France was the only one that was there, and of course, Andy tried to like say, "Well, why didn't you go?" and this, and so Karamo's like, to be really honest, we weren't invited. So that's why we weren't there. And so it created this whole discussion like, were you mad at that? Do you think he'll be invited to the wedding? And he said, I would like to be invited to the wedding. But again, he kept it kind of real, Karamo. He said, when you're paying for weddings, it's all about the plate, right? And each plate costs like a lot of money. And so he said, I won't, I don't know that he needs to invite me, but, and then when he turned it around, well, let me just hear that, and then I want to hear it. I'll read a little bit more, but Kodi, what are your thoughts? Do you think just because they're castmates that he needed to go to the bachelor party?
Yeah, the only thing I really have to to apply it to myself is like my connection with you guys. Would I invite you guys to my wedding, to my bachelor party? And the answer is yes. So I would be honestly a little bit offended if you guys didn't invite me to your bachelor party. Like, I wouldn't let it bother me that much, but I do think that I would be in the back of my mind like, oh, why didn't Steve invite me to his bachelor party? Does he not?
Well, see, this is where, well, I would invite you as well, but you
Okay,
and I
good.
are actually good friends. Jeremy, I would invite you as well because you and I are really good friends. And so the
Yeah.
three of us, of course, you would be on my bachelor party list. There's other hosts that have been throughout the years or on this show that maybe wouldn't get an invite to my bachelor party. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
Or they'd get lost in the mail.
They'd get lost in the mail. If they created a fuss, then they got lost in the mail. But to me, a bachelor party is like your closest friends.
Okay.
And I'm thinking Vegas, and it's only so many people. I mean, Andy brought up the whole thing. Well, people, you don't have to pay for people on the bachelor party. They just kind of show up and party along with you. That's true, but you also kind of want to be around your closest friends, I think, for your bachelor party. Now, the wedding, I think you have a little bit more leeway. Yes, you're paying for those plates, but I still think you can invite more acquaintance friends or people that you work with to that. But I don't know, Jeremy, how do you weigh in on bachelor party? Do you think
I just think, I don't know, for me, I feel like they're very personal, and I think that you should be able to invite whoever the hell you want and not invite whoever you want. So I think that nowadays, because weddings have just become so extravagant and have like party after party after party, and then like the bachelor, and then the engagement, and then the bridal shower, and like when it's dependent on the couple, I just think that you can't really get so butthurt on not being invited to certain things. You're either invited or you're not invited, and I don't think that you lose sleep over it, and I don't think it's that serious. And there's always the next person that's gonna invite you, and I don't know. I think also with your coworkers, I don't know if all those guys actually hang out all the time, and I think that that's
the
fine.
thing? Yeah.
That's completely fine. They don't have to all be besties just because they all work on the same show.
That's what I think too, because I think, I'm relating it to this show too. There's, Kodi, you and I, you live here. We hang out a lot. We're actually good friends. Jeremy, you did live here, but you're coming back and you're hanging out with us in a few weeks. And so we actually do hang out together. There's been other hosts, like I said, that I don't necessarily, but they're great for the show. I don't think everybody you work with, you need to then invite to your personal monumental weekend or event. Well, when asked if he would invite Porowski to his own bachelor party, Brown bluntly stated, "I would not," explaining, "I drink. I'm doing a shroom. I'm having a good time. And he's not. He's sober. So I'm going to invite you girls so that you can be over in the corner sober? Like, no." So
Yeah, I think that's also like
Okay.
it's a contender of weeding out like who's gonna be balls to the walls and who's not, or who wants to sit inside and just chill. And so I think that definitely makes sense. Like it makes more sense with more of the context too.
Yes, it definitely does. And that context right there was definitely needed. Now I get why they are having their own separate bachelor parties without each other.
Oh, so you think Anthony didn't invite Karamo because he drinks and
exactly? And
oh, really?
Anthony
Yeah.
was probably wanted a certain type of bachelor party, and
well, then Karamo didn't want to go to that bachelor party anyway.
Exactly.
Because if you can't
That's why he wasn't hurt.
I mean, a bachelor party, I mean, you're typically it's like hanging off the rafters, right? in Vegas, right? Bachelor Party. Did you watch that movie? And it's like if it's a sober one, Wah, wah. So, yeah, I don't think I'd want to be at that one. So I think Karamo's not mad that he didn't get to go to Anthony's bachelor party, but kudos to Andy for stirring the pot as always. And let's
She's
move.
shady.
She's shady. She tried to get something out of it.
Always shady.
I live though.
Yes. But it is a fun question, and we want to hear from you. Do you feel the need to invite people that you work with to your bachelor party? We'll post that on TAGSPodcast.com, and we want to see how you weigh in, or just let us know how you weigh in on that. Okay, let's give a little bit of advice, and it comes from a Reddit thread asking the question, bear with me, have you been sexual around your friends? I wonder how common, and this I think actually struck me, and the reason I wanted to read it, because I think I've changed throughout the years. I think younger people weigh in differently than maybe an older crowd. I'm not sure, but let's discuss. I wonder how common this is among gay men, being sexual around close friends, including going to nudist cruise beaches together, going to bathhouses together, sharing intimate action videos and photos among one another, actual fucking sucking in bars, clubs, or at home while friends watch, or sometimes have a friend or two join in. I just recently found out that some of my gay men friends are doing this, and they think this isn't a big deal. And they aren't just doing this with shallow, superficial clubbing friends, but actually among their close friends. For context, this person moved from the UK a couple of years back, so I'm not sure if this is an aspect of gay culture here that I haven't gotten used to yet, but I hadn't heard of this phenomenon among my friends back home in the US. And then he's wondering, are Americans just being prudish or not? Jeremy, one time we actually in LA took a younger friend of ours and a group of us, a co-host at the time, and we all went to kind of a after hours dark club, the sexual club. But the thing is, we all dispersed, and it was huge, that place. Do you remember the
Yeah,
place?
I do. Yeah.
We didn't sort of hang out together, but we were all under the same roof of sexual shenanigans. Were you uncomfortable with that? Or how do you feel about friends and sexuality together?
I think I'm kind of like right in the middle. I don't have any qualms about it, and I don't judge anyone based off of like who wants to be sexual in front of who. But I think for myself personally, I usually am kind of a little bit more reserved, where I would be open to being in the same environment sexually, but I also would like to be behind closed doors. Like if I'm going to be intimate with someone, if that makes sense. But
It does.
I definitely don't like want to sit around and watch my friends get their dick sucked or any of that. But I also don't care if it does happen in my presence. I'm not like going to make a big deal of it.
That does actually make a lot of sense. And I think it speaks, it's interesting, Kodi, because if you were to ask me this question in my 20s and 30s, maybe even my 40s, dare I say, I would have been absolutely not. I don't want to be anywhere my friends when there's a sexual activity happen. I don't want to be naked in front of my friends. I keep all that separate. And now in my early 50s, I'm like, I was the first to take my clothes off at the nude beach in front of
Of
you.
course you were.
Yeah. And now I'm not necessarily wanting to have full on intercourse or all of that and have my good friends stand around and watch necessarily. But I don't know that if we all happen to be side by side. I mean, Kodi, we're going to be in an upcoming Bakaya not cruise, but resort
Yep.
in a few weeks, and there is the red light district. There's a chance that we might be elbow brushing each other
Yep.
as somebody's doing something to one of our parts.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I am mentally prepared for that. And I feel like I had to get mentally prepared because we have been in the same space, but I feel like we haven't been side by side, like you said, or next to each other, or we would take turns to go and have fun wherever we were. And I feel like that is very comfortable for me because, I'm aligned with you guys. I don't want to necessarily see my friends. If we're in the same space, if we know that it's happening, then I'm okay with it. But when you're side by side, it's a little bit uncomfortable. This is somebody that you are in a friendship with. So I definitely hear what you guys are saying. And I'm mentally prepared for Vakaya because I cannot wait and we're gonna have so much fun. And I'm not letting anything step in my way as far as having the fun that I want to have there.
I will say the one thing that is liberating is like going to, because we're gay, going to like a sex club together or going to a bathhouse and walking around and cruising together. That part is definitely like the most fun.
I was just going to say the same thing too, because I was just recalling that I've been in Spain or Barcelona and being, or any place where I've been. It's liberating and fun to be part of the community and be with your friends and go with the intention of going to one of these places together. And no one's like squeamish or weird or saying, oh my
Yeah.
God, or any of those things. It's just, we all decided to do this. And although we might not be on top of each other, literally or figuratively, we are comfortable going to these spaces and even talking about our experiences on what may or may not have happened. And so I do like that aspect of it. So interesting topic, though. I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, there's a recent Washington Post article that just came out, and it talks about the new phone call etiquette that I thought it'd be fun to discuss. Text first and never leave a voicemail is what is at top of the list. And when is it okay to leave voicemails? Call multiple times in a row or take a call in public. And as you can imagine, most of the main thing was do not leave voicemails. Voicemails are an artifact of the days before text messages. And text before calling somebody is another one. You don't need to always feel the need to answer your phone, especially if somebody is FaceTiming you. I was on the couch yesterday and a friend of mine was FaceTiming me, but I was in a night in and I threw the phone across the couch because I was almost scared. I'm like, no, I can't answer this right now.
They must not know you very well because you're not a FaceTimer.
They wanted to talk about Kylie Minogue and Madonna, and it was a
Oh,
mashup, and they
God.
wanted to talk about it in person, I think. And I had no ring light on me. I was in my sweats eating like a tub of ice cream. And I'm like, oh no, bitch, not today. And so do not FaceTime me. And what some people are saying is the new way to do things, if you need to leave a voice message or you need to talk to somebody, text somebody and say, can you talk? Or the other thing is that's popular right now is you can leave a voice text that
Yeah.
people are liking a little bit more. Of course, things like talking loudly in public is not an okay thing to do, and talking loudly in public. Do any of these resonate with you, Jeremy, on the new ways? Because all of this is sort of new with iPhone watches and so forth.
Yeah, I just like texting and I'm good. When I see you, I see you, but I'm not really like a big phone or FaceTime person. I don't mind talking on the phone. It's just I don't like very long conversations or lots of questions over phone or text. I'd rather just like text quick and then see you in person.
I'm kind of the same way, except when things start getting a little bit like, say, for example, Cody, we're working on another project and some of it's artistic. And after this, we're probably going to talk about it. We need to talk about this. I
Exactly.
can't just keep texting you. I don't like this. I don't like that. It has to do with an art project thing. And I know a lot of it will get lost in translation. So sometimes I do think a phone call, if you can't meet up with somebody, is really worthwhile. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I do not think that you should text somebody before you call them. If they don't pick up, they don't pick up. Unless it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Are you awake? Is it okay if I call you? Because that could be a little bit intrusive late at night. However, if you just call and you don't pick up, then I totally get it. And I'll just send you a text message about what I wanted to say to you. I actually left a funny one of those voice text messages the other day because sometimes you really have to have that inflection of an actual voice. You have to maybe a little giggle during the voice message. It really, really helps. So I really love using that feature as well. Yeah.
That's a really good feature. I agree with you because there's a lot of intonation that you can get. They also recommend not getting emotional on your text because it won't translate. And I actually agree with that as well.
Well, I'm guilty of that. Shoot.
Yeah. Don't have an argument or get into it on a text. Wait till you see the person in person. So
I wish I had this advice a long time ago.
Okay, I'm sending you this.
For the FaceTime, I almost have to be more mentally prepared for a FaceTime than I do actually seeing my friend having sex next to me.
It's stressful is what they say. It can be very stressful. The one thing that they say, if you are going to do FaceTime, do not be shaking the phone around or walking around and bouncing that phone around. Hold it steady. No one wants to look at a shaky phone. Okay, that's our gripes for that on this today. Thanks, guys. As always, so much fun. Thanks for weighing in. You can always follow my co-host, follow Jeremy on Instagram at @JRossLopez, @JRossLopez. Follow Kodi. He's a life coach as well at KMD Coaching, or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. And follow me. I am _Steve V on Instagram, or go to the website TAGSPodcast.com. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah. Always fun.
Yeah, and in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.